Hi. Good evening, everyone, you beautiful souls. Thank you for joining me on my rescheduled time today. Hello, Sylv. Hi, Tam. Tam, give me 2 minutes, to introduce you. So, okay, thanks guys for joining me on my rescheduled time today. Today we are speaking to a guest speaker named Tammi, who is all about the Reiki and mind, body and soul healing. So, Tam, are you ready to come on? Do you see the pink banner? Just re-click that for me and I will bring you in. Let me see if I could go get you. No, I can't. You're not. It's okay anyway. Just wait for a few people to come on. Here you are. Hello, Tammi. Where are you?
Hey.
Hi, Tams. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Tams, you might want to lighten your backdrop a little bit if you can.
I can bring up the light in front.
Yeah. Sometimes from my side it looks darker until you see it on the live and the lights are all different on both sides.
Is that better?
Hello. Hello. A little bit. Yes. Hello. Hi. Greetings, everyone. Again, thank you for joining me on my rescheduled time today. Comfortable, Tam? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm totally comfortable.
Okay, good. So we only have a few people on live, but don't worry about it. People can always watch the replay and numbers will go up then, yeah? Hi, everyone. Everyone just come on and join, and we're going to stop every now and again to interact with you. So today we are talking to guest speaker Tammi. Tammi is a spiritual life coach. We're talking mind, body, and soul, and not forgetting the Reiki. Yeah?
Yeah.
Tammi, let's just get you warmed in. Talk to me about how your day has been leading up to this live tonight.
My day's been pretty chill. I haven't really done that much. I went for a little walk earlier. It's just been a pretty chill, easy day. I did a little bit of work. So yeah, it's been good.
Good.
How's
Did you say the
yours?
word chilled? Because I'm envying that you had a chill day. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Oh, my day. Is it ever really chilled? That's amazing. So you had to walk through nature, which is great. See some trees, some lakes. Did you see any of that?
I mean, no lakes, lots of trees.
Okay, I
Pretty
love being
nice.
surrounded by trees. That's amazing. Well, welcome, Tammi. I'd like to start with getting to know a little bit about Tammi as a soul, as opposed to just the handles that we attach to ourselves. Is that all right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So tell us, who is Tammi? Let's start from there.
I feel like when anyone asks me that question, I have no idea how to answer it because there's like a million different answers.
That's all right. I got time.
Yeah, I think as humans, there are so many different components to us. And I have a side that's like obviously to do with Reiki and all things spirituality, but then I have my side that likes to party and likes to have fun and likes a glass of wine when I'm at home on the weekend, or
Hmm.
sometimes a lot more than a glass.
Well, what's your poison? What do you like to drink?
Oh my gosh, I love a cocktail. My favorite drink is usually a passion fruit martini, but over
Ooh.
lockdown, I've like made the most perfect margaritas. They are insane.
Oh.
So I've been loving those recently.
That's nice. That's nice. Listen, a girl's allowed to treat herself. Come on, it's not every day we're having a drink, so
Yeah.
it's fine. Absolutely. So is that pretty much your explanation of who you are as a soul, or is there more that you'd like to share with us on a soul
Um,
perspective of who you are?
yeah, I suppose there's loads more to who I am. How can I?
Mhm.
I feel like I'm never going to stop talking about who I am as a person because,
Okay,
we're all evolving.
that's a good wind down to that question. Okay, so where was Tammi born?
I was born in London. I'm a born and bred Londoner. I've lived here all my life. I was born in Croydon, actually, in
Mm,
Mayday Hospital.
mm. Okay. And what's your origin? Where's your folks from?
So my mum is from Jamaica. Well, she's of Jamaican origin, but she was born here. My dad was also born here, but his parents are from Nigeria.
Oh, I think that's the perfect mix. That for me, African and Caribbean, it doesn't get better than that personally.
You know, everyone says it's a good mix, but it's like
It's a
the two
wonderful mix.
strictest places on earth I both have parents from. So
Hmm.
like I had such a rigid upbringing, you could
Hmm.
say.
Hmm. So Jamaican and African, considering, some time ago and in some elements still existing, but it has abolished quite a lot in our families, that would have been the two places not to get together. So I think it's a beautiful, perfect mix,
Yeah.
I'd say.
My mum would always say that to me. She said when they
Yeah,
get together, it was like a huge deal because that didn't really happen. And yeah, it's really nice to see.
that is nice. So, how would your friends and family describe you?
I suppose it depends on what day you ask them.
I think if you've frozen on me, here you are. Repeat that for me, Tammy, please.
Okay. I said, I think it depends on the day you ask them. Sometimes I'm like very chilled, very easy,
Hmm.
and that's a side of me that you could see all the time. And then
Hmm.
other times I'm like very regimented and I like to get stuff done, very organized. So yeah, I'm kind, I look after people, I suppose that's what they would say. But they would also say I get stuff done. I'm like
Okay,
very organized.
I'm going to ask a question that I don't usually ask. Two questions. One being, tell me something negative, they would say, because everyone says something great about themselves. I just done an interview myself last week because it's time for me to be interviewed by other people on different
Yeah.
platforms. And I was like, I'm this, I'm that. I'll give you the not the negatives because everyone gives a great CV.
Yeah.
So, and no one shares the negative about themselves. So tell me something that you consider to be a negative trait in yourself.
I mean, I totally recognize everyone has negative traits, and I think I have
Mm.
a lot.
But no one says
I
it.
think that I'm
Hmm.
strict with myself a lot of the time.
Hmm.
That's a problem. Sometimes I worry in advance of things happening, and that's a terrible quality.
So
Like
that's
I shouldn't
anxiety.
worry
Oh,
before
yeah?
time to worry. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. It's a question I'm going to start putting to folks because no one ever says anything bad about themselves. Not that we're supposed to go around, blaspheming badness, but it's just a balance of how much we share a great CV as opposed to saying like, okay, well, I'm a little bit like this. So I'll share something with you. I'm impatient. I can be rigid and I'm quite militant. That can be seen as a negative.
Mm,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm very loving, but I'm very militant on the flip side. So that's me sharing with you. So we can open up that space, something that can be considered as quite negative because rigid and being solid is great in some sense. It can be saluted. But on the flip side, being more adaptable and being like water when necessary is also a great tool.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm learning that to be more like water. It's taking some time. I'm going to get there though, girl. All right. So let's talk about what led you to the path of being a spiritual life coach. And before you answer that, hi everyone who's just joined. Thank you. I'm going to interact back and forth with you. Today we're talking to Tammi, a spiritual life coach, and she also practices Reiki. So if there's any questions you'd like to ask, feel free and interact, and we'll get back to you slightly after. Yeah, Tam?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So, tell us what led you to the path of becoming a spiritual life coach.
Um, I think the first thing that led me was kind of my Reiki practices. So I
Mhm.
think a few years ago, I was struggling with where I was in my mental state. And
Mm,
I, sorry, there's a car alarm going off.
that's okay. That's
um,
okay. Is that a secret admirer? Tell him you're on a live,
sorry,
yeah?
it's a car alarm like right in front of my house.
That's not your car?
I'm gonna check. Hold on one
No,
second.
go, please. Okay, this is what free flow is about. We get interactions that are spontaneous. So whilst Tammy's checking to see whether that's her car being set off by the alarm, guys, send me some hearts up, please. Say hi in the comments box. Let me know how you're doing today. Hi, Anne-Marie. How you doing? Lyrical. Greetings,
Okay, I'm back.
Chi.
It was
Hi,
the name
Crown
of sorry.
Jewels. And what's going on, Pinky? Okay, I said my hellos while you were gone. Thanks, guys. Love, love, love. I'm going to send you a couple of hearts back to all my viewers that's joined me today. Thank you. That wasn't your car, right?
No, it's another
Cool.
road. It's all good.
Excellent. Bless up, cuz Caprice. Let me send my cousin a heart. One for my cousin, one for Chi too. Yeah? Hey. Okay. So where were we? So you were saying that you was going through your own personal traumas or psychological challenges that led you to the path of becoming a spiritual life coach.
Yeah, I think it started with me feeling quite lost, and I didn't know where I was going in life. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and spirituality kind of grounded me. It kind of gave me something to connect to, and it made me feel better in myself. And then when I learned about all of that, I was on YouTube and something about Reiki came up, and I didn't know what it was at the time. So I went and I looked into it, and I thought, that looks really amazing. I would love to learn how to. So I learned how to do Reiki, and I started doing Reiki sessions. And in all of my learning and things, you learn a lot about energy, and you learn a lot about chakras. And that led me even further down this path of wanting to help people and having this basis of helping people, which was healing chakras. And that's like all what my spiritual life coaching comes down to. It's the 7 chakras that you're trying to heal and trying to align.
Okay. I was going to talk about Reiki a little bit later, but as we've gone the other way around, let's start right here. But with the Reiki, how long does it take to become an established Reiki practitioner?
It all depends on who's teaching you. You could do it in a day, you could do it in a week, you could do it in a month. It all kind of depends on who's teaching you and what level you go up to. There's level 1, 2, and 3. And obviously level 3 takes the longest to get to. And between each level, you have a period where you actually can't go up to the next level. You have to stay at the level you're at and kind of keep learning and keep practicing on yourself and other people. And only after you've done that for a certain amount of time are you allowed to go on to the next level, which I think is actually a really good thing, because sometimes I feel like people always want to skip to the next step, and it kind of makes you step back and think, right, I have to just stay where I am and be okay where I am.
Okay, so in regards to the Reiki, is it certified? Do you get a qualification with that? Is it a college, uni, or just a private course that people would take to get into this?
It's usually a private course people take to get into it. Like, there are loads of singular people that teach Reiki.
Right.
There are schools that teach Reiki. You'll get a certificate that says that you've got Reiki in degree 1 or degree 2 or degree 3 or whatever.
And from that, could you go on to being, if I've done 3 months, could I go on to becoming a practitioner? This is for viewers' purposes also, the information.
Well, you can actually be a practitioner with just level 1. You don't need to go all the way up to master level to be a practitioner. Master level is really the people that teach Reiki. So if you teach Reiki, you've gone up to master level, and it gives you the ability to attune other people.
What level are you on currently?
I am a master. I've done all of my levels.
You can teach on that.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any of this healing practice on animals?
I've done it a little bit on my dog, actually, because my dog, she has separation anxiety and stuff, and she's like,
wow. Okay.
So I tried to do it on her, and actually I did see it make her a little bit calmer, to be honest, but I don't know.
Really?
Because my energy was really calm. You never really know, but yeah, I have done it on animals. It can be done on animals or people.
So so you were able to do Reiki on yourself?
Hmm.
Okay, does your family and friends trust you to do it on them? Have they used them as guinea pigs yet?
They actually ask me to do it on them all the time, more than I'm even willing to do it. Everyone's always saying, Tammy, when are you going to do Reiki for me?
Really?
Yeah.
Perhaps before the end of the show, you can show us a few, I don't know, intuitive moves, positions, or how people can go about that. So let me take you back a little bit in regards to the life coaching. Spiritual life coach. I mean, in terms of life coach, everyone and their grandma has become a life coach overnight.
Hmm.
Yeah? In regards to using the word spiritual life coach, now you're talking my language. Yeah, totally a path that will align me to the same path at a certain point of my journey. Not necessarily in regards to coaching, but just soul energy work, because I'm fascinated with it all. So in your opinion, as you use the word soul life coach,
Hmm.
in your definition, what is the soul? Here's a deep question for you now.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't have to be done in technical form of the biology of the body, but in your definition, what is the soul?
I think your soul is your inner being. It's
Mm,
something that is inside you and it's attached to your physical body because this
mm,
is your vessel for the moment. But your soul
mm.
is something that is everlasting, and
Okay.
every living thing has
Mhm.
soul. It's hard to describe. It's like your essence, the very
Mhm.
core of you.
That's a really good answer. I mean, I don't think for me, when you're speaking person, I don't think there's any one set answer unless someone's going to go from a whole, biblical sense of the soul. So I like your answer for you, and I totally, totally applaud that. So in regards to a spiritual life coach, what does that mean? What is your daily practice? What does that mean to you?
So I think I think generally life coaches are sort of very practical and they give you practical ways you can change your life or change your physical body. Like some life coaches will give you meal plans and tell you how to eat. I feel like in terms of my life coaching, it is to do with your spirit. I aim to connect with my clients on a very deep level and I want them to feel good. It's not about anything outward, it's all about how you feel. And I'm
Mm.
going right into the spirit, I think, and saying, how can I heal this? How can
Yeah.
I make my mindset better so I feel good? How can I
Mm.
enjoy exercise so I feel good? Not so I lose weight, but so
Mm.
I feel good about myself. How
Yeah.
can I go
Mm.
in nature so I feel good? It's all about
Yeah.
how you feel.
Absolutely. So are you just basically a life coach and you put spirituality in front of it because that's what you are about?
Um, I
Or
think
did you actually study spiritual life coach? And I know why I'm asking that specific question.
mhm. I think for me, it's a mixture of both. I see
Right.
I'm a life coach and what I'm about is spirituality, so that's what I'm helping my clients to achieve essentially.
That's what I thought. So with life coaching, then did you do a qualification for that, or so I'm told you don't have to in terms of becoming a life coach that you don't need a qualification allegedly.
Yeah, you don't actually need a qualification
That's
for
why everyone's a life coach overnight.
that. Yeah,
Everyone thinks I'm a life coach.
there are definitely qualifications you can do. Like for life coaching, there are specific ones, but I feel
Mm,
in terms of how I do life coaching, it's not really about having a qualification. I
yeah.
learn all of my practices through Reiki, and my practice is based on Reiki, and I have a qualification in that. And I've taught people how to do Reiki. So, like, all of that has kind of gone into me being a life coach, and I see that as my training.
I like that. So you just expanded within your own spirituality. And I'm glad you said that. And let me tell you why. Because as you know, spirituality is very individual. So the fact that you are a spiritual being and you are into life coaching and you've added that bow to the other common term, that I can dig because that's very me. I don't think you can actually I think, you know, the more we research, study, and exchange knowledge, obviously we expand spiritually. But I don't think you can tell someone what their definition of spirituality is. So I appreciate how you maneuver. So in regards to, because I'm still stuck on the life coaching, because that's the main thing, the mind, body, and soul healing. Do you think that one has to be in a state of oneness with themselves in order to be a successful practitioner? So someone's going to give a Reiki, but they're all messed up today. Their energy's off because of life. Would you still do a Reiki on me?
I think that part of being a good practitioner, part of being a good healer, is being able to distance yourself from like what's going on inside and your work. Everyone else does that when they have different jobs. You know, you might have a terrible day, but still have to go into work. So at the end of the day, and honestly, sometimes when I do Reiki, I feel better because it kind of gives me a moment of oneness, and it gives me the sense of feeling really centered because I've got quiet and I have to focus. So in a way, doing Reiki, if I'm having a bad day, makes me feel better. So I think that as a whole, it's better to be in a state of oneness when you're a practitioner. But then at the same time, it's not the be all and end all if you have little dips, because we're humans and everyone does. And I feel like everyone needs to be kind to themselves and say, you know,
absolutely,
that's okay.
It's interesting because, you know, we all kind of walk around and say, let's be real, whilst no one is either identifying or admitting that we all have a facade, a camouflage, and a mask when necessary. Everyone talks about, I'm being real. You don't go into work and be 100% real if you just had a big barney with your partner and you're going to walk in and say, everybody, I'm fucked up today. Yeah. I'm fucked up. You don't. You go in there and you're like, hi. So that is putting on a filter, a facade, a camouflage for when it's necessary. But in terms of spiritual work, it's very different, isn't it? It's a bit like when someone says, I'll pray for you. Not everyone should pray for you, but not everyone's got the energy in that space where they ought to pray for you. So I think when it comes to energy practices, I'm always quite mindful because we all go through things. And as you said, we ought to be able to distance ourselves and hold space. But energy practices, like people that burn sage, which I do, we're burning sage. How many people says, I need to burn sage on my damn self? I got the bad vibes today. Yeah. Nobody says that because I'm one of those real chicks. Seriously, I'll be like, got bad energy time. I'm off today. I'm all fucked up today. Burn sage on my damn self, but no one admits that. You know, everyone's kind of wanting to be healers, which we want to be, or light workers, as people would like to refer me as in their own terms. But sometimes we are the ones carrying the negative energy. And for me, I feel like if I was really shaken up and I was unable to get right, I don't think I would practice on somebody if I was in those positions, because it's energy exchange. It's a serious thing. Even before I sit here, I clear my space because I'm exchanging energy. And it's, even though I'm just talking to you, I'm literally observing, absorbing, and it's energy exchange. Right? I feel like Carol Priest is saying, damn right. Do you feel me? Burn your sage on your damn self.
Yeah. I think it's like a problem that we've had consistently in the age of social media. You know, everyone puts on this facade and everyone feels like they should be okay all the time. And I think that that's not, like, it's not realistic to say you're okay all the time. And I'm the first to say I'm having a really bad day, and I recognize when I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
Quotes that I saw a while ago was, remember your favorite healer is still healing.
Oh, I love that.
We all need to heal. So you shouldn't put your healer or your life coach on a pedestal, because we're humans at the end of the day, and sometimes we struggle too.
I love that. I put quotes in between my posts on this page, and that's going to be the next one, I think. I love that. Remember your healer still healing. Absolutely. Wow. Okay, so hold space for one moment. Let me go to the comments. Guys, what are you thinking and feeling of this live so far? I'm always fascinated and captivated by conversations of the soul. I love it. Let me see what my peeps have to say. Tam, smoke a cigar, have a drink in the meanwhile. Let's see. Let's go to Caprice. Caprice says, not everyone should pray for you. Burn sage on myself, especially on my birthday. That's my cousin. She's just the littest. Yeah, I love her. Real talk. Today, I was like, listen, hold space, burn sage on yourself. You got energy, girl. Because I'm very honest like that. You know, we're always externalizing as opposed to checking ourselves, you know. So let's see what life experience has to say. He says, the funny thing is that humans find it so easy to help others. Yep. But don't listen to our own advice at the best times. Yes, that's right. And that's why, regardless of what people think or may say, I'm always quite honest with myself because, you know, of course, you can only reach yourself as deep as you are in that moment. But that's very true. What did I want to share with you next? Yeah, what type of clients do you attract in terms of issues or traumas? Are you yet a fully fledged practitioner? Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I'm doing my coaching and I'm doing my Reiki stuff. And honestly,
Amazing.
I feel like the clients I have are like so wide, the different people that I've managed to interact with through my practice.
Yeah.
There are some people that you would never imagine to be into things like Reiki and healing, and people that you wouldn't expect to want it, but those people still try it at the end of the day. People from all different ethnicities, all different backgrounds, and I think that that's kind of one of the amazing things about spirituality. It brings people together. You never know if someone considers themselves a spiritual person or is into spirituality until you talk to them about it.
Yeah.
And I've found that these people are so wide reaching, and honestly, there's so much good out there, and that's like wonderful. I've been able to meet great people, and some people, they have troubled pasts, but I feel like everyone's trying to make the best of themselves, and that's what all of my clients have in common. They are trying to be the best version of themselves that they can be.
So without disclosing names, of course, confidentiality clauses, what is the common cause of them wanting to come and seek any form of therapy healing? What are the common issues? Depression, stress, you know, mental health, suicidal? Like, is there a common phenomenon of what they, you know, a particular set of people that you have? Or is it varied? Can you give us a few varied examples of what type of matters would they, or would they even share that with you? Because obviously not a counsellor directly. So would they even share what the issue is, or do they just say, I want some Reiki or some, you know, some, as I call it, soul work, energy work or whatever? What do they come with?
You know, most people are usually very forthcoming with what they're after with a session or with the coaching, because my coaching is very bespoke, and I actually will have an in-depth conversation with anyone before I make a plan for them, because I feel like, as you know, as humans, we're individual, so you need individual help. You need things to be tailored to you, and that's what I do. I think that the thing that they've all had in common is the fact that they are not spending time on themselves. And go into a plan, or you go into a Reiki session, you know, you have to spend that time on yourself. It's people that are really busy and are going too quickly to think about what they need in themselves. And a lot of them think it's selfish to need things, and it's not selfish to need things. We all need things sometimes. So that's definitely a thing in common. People that are too busy and they aren't thinking about how can I spend time on myself. They need a space that's regimented for them to spend time on themselves.
Interesting. Would you like to ask me anything before I proceed?
You can go ahead.
Okay. Every now and again I pick them up and I think, do they want to ask anything? Some people say, yeah, I wanted to say this. And I'm like, I really want to ask you a random question about yourself, Silver. So I'm like, okay, you're fine, Tammi. All right. What does Tammi do to alleviate your own stresses?
To alleviate my own stresses, I go on long walks and long hikes. I absolutely love walking. I love walking on warm days. When it's sunny, the sun makes me so
Yeah.
happy. And I like being in nature. I also pole dance, which is like something that
Do you actually climb on the pole? I saw you and I thought, she hasn't got on the pole yet. I see her going around, but I don't see any skills going on. Do you actually get on the pole and really pole dance?
I do actually get on the pole.
I want to see evidence of that, Tammi, yeah? I'm not convinced yet, but I want to see evidence. It looked like nice up and about, like I haven't seen a spin on it, upside down, all that kind of kinky stuff yet.
I do get on the pole. I think, to me,
I want to see skills ASAP.
I don't usually put my pole stuff on my Reiki account. I have like a personal account that's for me. Most of my pole stuff's on there. But yeah, pole is something that helps.
Well, actually, I have entertainment nights every now and again, and I'm actually looking for a burlesque and professional pole dancers. So if you are really ready, let me know. And I mean, I want to see you buck wild. Okay? I don't mean a little bit. I mean, throw away the Reiki for the night and bring out the nipple tassels. I mean, you know. She's like, Silver, you're bad. Did you know this? I told you to watch my lives prior so you know what I'm like, girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously. We'll talk about entertainment night another time. Or if you know any other pole dancers, let me know so we can have entertainment night. Okay, so do you have any morning or night rituals that you do, practices that keeps you balanced?
Morning, I like to start with a meditation. I'm not going to act like I meditate every morning because sometimes I don't even think of it. I just get out of bed. But yeah, I like to meditate in the morning. So if I'm manifesting something, that's something that I will think about first thing when I wake up in the morning. I like to look at my vision board on my...
I was just going to say, tell us about your vision board.
Yeah.
I saw you doing it in fast motions. I saw you.
Yeah. I have a vision board. I make one at the beginning of the year, and it's to do with what I want to achieve throughout the year. And I actually really enjoy the process of making a vision board.
Yeah.
Sticking it down, arts and crafts, it's right up my street. I love doing that kind of stuff.
What's the top 3 things that are on your vision board right now?
My top 3 things?
Travel's one of them. Girl, you're not going about me. You do that, don't you?
One of them. I'm literally looking at it across the room, and getting 100,000 followers on this account, which I know is going to happen. I'm just putting it out there. And
me too.
Other thing, travel, that, and getting up to a higher level in my pole is actually on there too.
It's on my list too. I want to see it, girl. So yeah, when I saw you on your page talking travel, I'm like, travel buddy here, hello, where we going? Yeah, that has to be a must. Okay, so what are the pros and cons to being to having your role, to having your job? What is the pros and the cons of being a soul worker, so to speak?
I think that one of the cons is that people expect you to be perfect all the time.
Yeah,
people have expectation of you.
Yeah.
And that's just not realistic as a human being. I think that one of the pros is I get to meet a lot of people and I get to talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Another one of the cons would be when you get into people's trauma, or when you like talk a lot to someone about something that bothers them, it can be emotionally taxing. And
I was going to say draining, but that's a much polite term, taxing. Yeah.
It can be really tough, but I feel like the rewards outweigh it, because helping someone get to where they want to get feels really good to me. I really like helping people, and honestly, it's nice to have a space where I can be myself and other people feel like they can be themselves, because that's all I want at the end of the day. People feel like they can be unapologetically themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my word, unapologetic. Absolutely. How much do you think that sex and spirituality plays a role in terms of keeping a healthy balance?
You know, I can't tell you I've ever really thought about it. I think that having a healthy physical relationship with yourself and having a healthy relationship with sex all comes into spirituality, you know. It's all about balance. There shouldn't be like one thing that you do a million times and then one thing that you do like once. Everything has to come into balance. So I feel like, yeah, that it's a balancing act. You can't have one without the other. There's a
Do you
lovely
think?
interplay.
Who said? According to who?
I mean, no one
Or was
said.
that? I best you say according to Tammy.
Hmm. But I think that you need everything. No one can be one thing. Everyone has to have a mix of stuff going on in them.
I think, I mean, this is the reason why some questions I personalize and say, what do you think? Because it's always going to be facts to
Hmm.
some questions that we ask the universe if we go into it. And there's going to be other questions where it's not one answer. It's dynamic and it's personal. Like the word spirituality, I can't tell you that you're not spiritual because it's a personal journey.
Yeah.
Whereas religion, it's one dot. It's quite clear what that means in the dictionary. It's not the same. So I think the question I asked in regards to how much you think spirituality plays a role in sexuality, I guess even an atheist or someone who doesn't believe in anything is still a spirit. So whether they believe in it or not, they're still a spirit or a spiritual being going through a physical journey. You know, as we say, we're, you know, spiritual beings. But I think in terms of sexuality, it's interesting you say you never really thought about it. That's interesting. For me, I think I'm just very aware. You know, we're all aware of different pressure points of spirituality. In that area also, I'm very aware of that being a spiritual journey, sexuality, depending on how deep you are and the awareness of sexual spiritual exchange.
Hmm.
When you are interacting with someone intimately, you definitely have a spiritual exchange. And this is the reason why we often have different behavior outcomes once we sleep with different people.
Mm. I definitely think so. I think
You know?
that when you get more into spirituality or when you're really into it,
Mm.
you're careful with who you're intimate with.
Mm.
But that doesn't necessarily have to be physical intimacy. It's intimacy on all levels.
Of course, I'm not even speaking of even being careful. It's just, which, yeah, we're mindful. We're always mindful, you know. But in terms of that it always fascinates me how you can be a certain person and then you unite with somebody, especially on an intimate or sexual chemical level, and how your behavior patterns can change for better or worse, or what that does to you on a spiritual level that you can have no control of after unless you do spiritual work on blockages and all that deep stuff. Because remember, spirituality is massive, it's ambiguous. We can talk on a light level. If I have to go deeper, I'm going to need to have a whole nother practitioner on this show because it can go layers that we don't even ready for, you know. But spirituality, there's so many layers. But yeah, it fascinates me. It really does fascinate me. So Tammy, is there anything that you'd like to add that I haven't asked yet that you'd like to share with the audience and those who watch this playback about your journey as a spiritual life coach, a Reiki, or anything else that's to do with Tammy's world?
Um, that's such a big question.
Throw it at us. Throw us something random. Tell us. Let me ask a question I never asked before you do. What is your star sign? I'm not into star signs like that, astrology, but many people are. So give me a random fact about you. What's your star sign?
I don't know anything about astrology either, but I'm trying to learn about it because I find it to be fascinating. But
Most people would with your line of work. So what are you? When's your birthday?
I am a Leo. My birthday's in August.
August. You know, I always make the greatest friends of Leos for years, for years. But one thing about Leos, so far, I'm not saying it's you, but in my grand whole lifetime experience of meeting Leos, of both male and female, you can be the longest friends in a lifetime. But the minute you challenge them, or almost like saying no, the friendship's freaking over.
Hmm. I mean, I think
Leos are great until you are challenging them, and then it's fallout permanently.
I mean, it depends in what ways you challenge them, I suppose. I think
That's
I'm,
it.
I'm up for a challenge in a way, but if someone's consistently challenging me and against me, then, you know, no one wants that kind of energy in their life.
But if someone's challenging me and against me, I'd want to know why. As opposed to rejecting it, I'd want to know why. I'll try to endeavor to examine myself to see, is it me or is it them or is it us? And our frequencies just don't vibe. Because sometimes it's not you and it's not me. Sometimes it actually just frequency differences that just don't work.
Yeah.
There's never always we always kind of have this, you're wrong, I'm right, don't we, as human beings? But sometimes it just is, which is no wrong and right. We just don't vibe.
You know, I feel like a lot of people are reluctant to believe that sometimes people just don't vibe. But I can totally get that, because there are some people where you meet them and you talk to them and there's nothing wrong, but you're just not, you just don't mesh.
That's what I mean. The frequencies are all off. Like, you know, you are a roaring ocean, someone else is a calm, you know. So it just does depend. But I do think we spend a lot of time kind of, even in relationships, and I'm at this stage where I feel like and I know I am massively at fault with this, and I'm working on it. We often will criticize and say that someone is whatever. Let's say it's a woman or man, no gender preference. And we're like, oh, they're this or they're that. But in fact, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just not right for you. But instead, we actually will talk about all the things that we don't like, and all the things that are wrong, but they're perfect for someone else. They haven't beaten you up. They haven't assaulted you. They haven't abused you. They're actually great, just not for you. So we reserve the compliment and have all the criticisms. And that's the same as friendship. I can say that person is amazing. I just can't be around them.
Yeah.
But we don't really say that, do we, as much? We just kind of be like,
But I think it's a problem with humans. We always need a reason for things. You're never okay with just, like, I don't feel like we mesh. I don't feel like we vibe. I don't feel like we're good together. No one is ever okay with that. So you dig and you dig until you find a reason so you can give someone a reason. I think that's because everyone's always like, well, there has to be a reason.
Labels.
Yeah, you need to put something on it. You need to put things away with a neat.
Yeah. I am that person, and I'm actually trying to unknit that. I remember when I was about 10 years ago. Oh my God, I'll share something briefly before I close this. About more than 10 years ago, what am I talking about? I remember I was, oh my God, so in love with this man. Yeah, in love with my lover who couldn't make love. But anyway, we won't go there. We won't go there. So we'll keep it together. Yeah, so I was in love with my lover who couldn't make love. And I was saying to a close friend, I'm not in love with him. Like, why would I be in love with him? Like, I was giving I mean, at the time, I just wasn't connecting to being in love. I gave all the reasons why he's not right for me. And she was like, Silva, you know what your problem is? You cannot identify that you are in love with this man because it's not in the right bracket. You're not in a relationship. You haven't got all the right terms and you know, guidelines that's come with it that gives the worthiness of why you feel that way. She goes, but in fact, you're clearly in love with the man. And in my head, I was like, well, why would I be? So clearly I was detached because the labels didn't fit why I would normally be in love with somebody, because he earned it, because he was consistent, because he nurtured it. He didn't come under any of those correct boxes. But yeah, so you see, that is, and my brother once said, without labels, we don't get it. So that's a bit of a shared story of from that point on. Are you buffering on me, Tam? Yeah, there you are. From that point on, even though I still, being a part of society, label stuff, I'm a lot more open to just saying, you know what, this is how I feel. I'm uncomfortable with not having the answers because I'm extremely in touch with myself. So whenever I'm out of balance, I'm literally all over the place because I'm normally in tuned, always no direction. I know where I'm going in my life, even if I haven't achieved it. So when I'm out of sync, I don't know what to do with myself. So from that point on, I'm a lot more like, I don't know why. I don't have a reason. I just feel. That was a lesson that I learned.
That's a very good lesson. I mean,
Let me read the comments before I wind down the live tonight, Tams. Thank you guys for joining us and still being here. Let me read some of your comments. A mix-up morning was good. Bruce, hi. Thanks for being with us. 31 Caprice says, do you know Leo is one of the star signs that has the same moon sign? Oh, well, teach me something, cousin. Teach me. Sandy says, sometimes we don't have to go that deep. Well, if you're referring to like spirit and stuff, I actually think that we don't have a choice. I actually think we don't have a choice in real sense, which means people can go looking for spirit when you're searching for something and you hang on to religion, partnerships, friendships, or spirituality, and you become all these attachments. But often spirit comes looking for you. So if it takes you to a deep place, it's an enlightenment. That's what Buddha means, enlightenment, enlightened one. Yeah, if you have become enlightened, it's like reading something, you're like, oh my God, it's enlightened you. You can't help how deep you've gone. You've become enlightened. But whether you decide to walk the path and go to a deeper depth, we have a choice. Because it can be scary depending on what your calling is.
I think so.
You know, and we're not all ready for the levels of our calling or the levels of us who's been called for healing or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So Manifesting Nation says we can just say no, thanks, and move on. What are we referring to? Remind me, because I've got to go back. We can just say no, thanks. Yeah, in terms of not meshing with people, I guess you're relating to. Sandy says, also sometimes you, let me see. Yeah, also sometimes you don't need a reason. You just don't vibe. Okay, yeah. You were in love in your idea of love. Yeah, that could be. Not in that case, my sister. But we are often in love with the idea of being in love. And we're often in love with the idea of being married with a white picket fence.
Yeah, I'm like that. I love the idea of love, and I feel like
I love seeing in love. I love seeing people in love.
Yeah.
I love to love.
It's so amazing. And sometimes
You know?
you're like trying to force yourself into this box with something that doesn't work and you can't do it.
That's what Sandy's just said. She just said, still, we go deep into something when we already know the answer. Oh, that's what you're talking about, is in not go that deep. That's right, Sandy. And often it's very psychodynamic. It's so attached to our childhood isms, reflectivity, what we didn't have, abandonment, or the over, whatever it is. A lot of who we are mostly is to do the reflection of childhood, the childhood journey, what we're trying to escape, run away from, or cling to. Yeah. So on that note, Tammi, as I wind down this live, allow me to ask you before I officially do, how have you felt today about your live here on Free Flame Thoughts? Share with us your afterthoughts.
My afterthoughts. I didn't even think this through.
You're not supposed to. This is free flow. It comes randomly.
I think
there's no correct answer. It's your answer.
I think it was really good for me because I think that I'm a very planned person. I always plan things, always know what I'm going to do. And I didn't do that today. And I obviously didn't do that today. So in a way, this was a really good platform for me to just connect to myself in the moment and stay in the moment and actually give myself space to breathe and space to think and, you know, just talk. Sometimes it's nice to talk and you don't know where your sentence is going to end up, and I think that that's what I've taken away from this. It's lovely to just talk and not know how it's going to end.
And that's what I call chit chat with Silver. Okay, let's read Bruce's comment before I close the live, because as I always say, once I download this in hope that Instagram doesn't steal it, because Instagram, you've been stealing my lives and not been allowing me to put it on my platform. I don't know why. Please, guys, if there's any further comments, please add it on the actual page once I download this this live, because the comments, unfortunately, Instagram, it disappears once you download it, which is a bummer. So let's see what Sandy just said is so true in regards to Bruce's comment. Bruce says, Sometimes we simply connect. Where have you gone? The comments keep flickering. Sometimes we simply connect to another without thinking. Every woman, come back, comment. Every woman in my life has come from December and January. Ooh, for as far as back as I can recall. Does that mean star signs relating to December and January born women? What does that mean? What does that mean, Bruce? Interesting. Has it worked for you? Is the question. Anyway, Tammi, thank you so much for coming on Free Flame Thoughts and sharing your soul with us. It has been really reflective. I've actually really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Do come back again, maybe with your poll.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe with your poll. Yeah. Thank you, Tammi. You have been amazing. Please feel free to exit the live and I'll speak to you shortly. Peace and love.
Thank
Namaste.
you.
You're welcome. Guys, I really enjoyed that live. Thank you so much, Reiki by Tammi. Please feel free to go over to her page and support what she does. She's a beautiful sister. Guys, I'll be back, God willing, this Friday with a brand new guest. We're talking stateside once again. We've got a US guest. I won't have too much of a spoiler. So join me right here on Friday at 8:30 p.m. UK time. Look out for the promo by tomorrow or Friday morning, and you will see who's coming on Friday. Yeah. Guys, how have you enjoyed the live today? I see a few hearts, but send me some more love, hugs, kisses, and tickles before I go. Let me send you some hearts. Thank you so much for joining me today and interacting. For those who have, big up yourself, Sandy, Bruce, Caprice 31, and Experience. And I'll see you on Friday. Peace and love.